HBO describes the drama The Regime, featuring Kate Winslet as the paranoid chancellor of a fictitious Central European republic, as darkly comedic. In addition to presenting some of the show's most unusual moments, such as the chancellor reprimanding her cabinet from an ice-filled tub, the premiere featured Winslet's Elena Vernon performing an uncomfortable rendition of Chicago's If You Leave Me Now to American diplomats during an estate dinner. Although it would be inaccurate to describe the six-episode series, which premiered on March 3, as darkly hilarious, it is not a comedy at all. While Tracy, the show's creator, paints The Regime as a bleak superficial exploration of the dangers of authoritarianism and the sobering reality of America's role in the tyranny of people all over the world, it is neither amusing, instructive, nor smart. Weakness is a trait shared by all autocratic strongmen and, in the case of Kate Winslet's Elena Vernon in The Regime, autocratic strong women. Their primary response to a crisis or even a little affront is violence and oppression, which is enforced by the military and supported by media propagandists and bureaucrats. They are usually arrogant, impressionable, insecure, and frequently crazy. They use nationalism to promote themselves, manipulate elections to appear free and fair, keep power by deception, and live in a wealthy paranoid bubble within the palace. Elena, the leader of a fictional Central European nation resembling the Grand Budapest Hotel and Stalin's death, responds harshly to a home crisis, revealing the weak side of the powerful lady. Elena's first instinct is to pay Corporal Herbert Zubak, one of the murderous soldiers, to follow her. Because the economy is in freefall and the army's shooting down of 12 protesters at a cobalt mine has harmed the country's already terrible human rights reputation, Zubak's chores would be unknown to him even if he hadn't been heavily sedated at the time. But Elena's action says more than anything else. She informs Zubak that the demonstrators were acting like animals, and the military just responded. In just one episode, Elena and Zubak's relationship changes considerably, indicating that Elena's grip on her tin pot kingdom is slipping, and Zubak is astute enough to recognize when and how to profit on it. Will Tracy, the author of this caustic, strange, and politically conscious humor, was previously the editor-in-chief of The Onion. He wrote about Succession and co-wrote The Menu, a comedy about a three-star kitchen that functions as its own cruel authoritarian government, with Seth Rice, another Onion alumni. Tracy is an Armando Iannucci school comedy writer who specializes in the absurdities of the ultra-rich, whose venality and incompetence may be both entertaining and harmful. The Regime is a global-scale historical parody. Elena's castle is infused with paranoia, reminiscent of Dr. Strangelove, particularly on Victory Day, when she defeated the previous neo-Marxist chancellor in a possibly unfair election. Given America's interest in Central and South America's cobalt deposits, it appears that the traditional CIA supported capitalist-friendly right-wing uprisings. Elena resembles Sterling Hayden's character General Jack D. Ripper in Strangelove. Instead of being concerned about communists contaminating our delicate biological fluids by fluoridating the water, Elena suspects that spores have contaminated the castle. A chancellor virtually ruining her own palace is an appropriate image for a crumbling monarchy, but we're not sure if the spore obsession started with her. Others, particularly Susan, Elena's finance minister, and her doctor, who happens to be attached to Susan's hip, take advantage of Elena's inadequacies. Even Elena can feel the vultures gathering as she holds an official luncheon featuring the CEO of an American energy business as the main speaker. The mine's devastation has provided the CEO with an opportunity to acquire a majority ownership in Susan's cobalt company, something she has long advocated for. Americans are fully capable of ignoring violations of human rights in the business sphere. However, in cold hard negotiations, this provides them more leverage. The episode's main point is the reaction, which is as humorous and character-revealing as Kendall Roy's well-known L to the OG WAP tribute to his father on Succession. Instead of a DJ Squiggle original, Elena's song is a lounge rendition of Chicago's If You Leave Me Now, showcasing Winslet's unusual accent and vocal range, which differ greatly from Peter Cetera's. She sings to the crowd, "If you leave me now, you'll take away my heart. I shall be heartbroken. It's one of those uncommon cases where someone is too stubborn to change their viewpoint, similar to the Kendall WAP. It's also another indication that her ego is taking precedent over her better judgment. Zubak appears to be wildly reacting to the chaos as it occurs, leading up to his dramatic takeover of power. He learns that his responsibilities include following Elena about, measuring humidity with a hydrometer, and preventing others from touching her. Elena, on the other hand, quietly pulls him aside and slaps him in the face for making her appear ridiculous in front of the international tourists at the reception. She warns him, "Next time, turn the gun on yourself," alluding to the calamity. His departure from her orbit turns out to be temporary. When he beats a large invader to within an inch of his life in her bedroom, Elena wishes Zubak was present. She, and we, are undoubtedly surprised to learn that Zubak has been watching. He can now tell her the truth about her spore disease and the cobalt mines. She remarked to him, "You told me to crush them and anyone who makes you weak, and now they're making fun of us because you dance at the circus with foreign currency like a sick bear." All of this is like music to Elena's ears, strengthening her resolve to deal with the Americans and giving her the fortitude to kick Susan and her doctor out of the palace for their malicious schemes. It may also elevate this insane, deadly soldier to the position of absolute control in the country. The powerful woman stays frail, while Andrea Riseborough plays Elena's chief minister, who departs to insult the ordinary workers who are restoring and renovating the palace. We'll have to wait and see how big of an influence she has. "Don't go soiling this, I've cared for it my entire life," she says, leading Zubak into his chamber. Despite having blind patches, Elena is aware enough of her surroundings to laugh at Susan's notion that the people want advancement. "You can hear them grunting from your country house," she says. Guillaume, Elena's troubled spouse, has a humorous background. He is initially seen referring to the mine slaughter as a little spicy. Later, he discreetly informs people at the reception about seeing her in Paris and ultimately leaving his